So sorry, I don't know what you're going on. The knowing part, yes. There's no knowing, but yeah, I know. In the Maya. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with people's comments, which I can't. I'm not very good at reading that fast. Sorry. But that's very interesting. Yeah, it is. It has an effect. The whole game is changing. You see, the one is changing the whole Earth experience, story, game. The whole paradigm is shifting. So even the old teachings will change. Everything's going to change, because it's the one. It's dream. It's story. This is what's happening. There we are. And each character will be guided to different courses, different. So there's no, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I know that. I know what you mean about the knowing part of it, but I'm very well aware, yes, what you mean about that. There's nothing to know. When the game is finished, that's a choice. What he's saying there, when that game is finished, that's a choice. There is no nothing. There's no knowledge, because it's just. How do I explain this? You can't, you see, that's why the gurus don't talk about it. This one was taken to that and was given a glimpse and understanding of what the gurus talk about. As they will say, nothing's actually happening. It's just life. So at that stage, when the one is pulled, let's say, the consciousness back to the self, the experience comes to an end, because now you've reached a level where there's no more. You're exiting the Maya, the story, for a bit, right? So your consciousness is pulled back to the self, and there's no more experience. All experience ends. And for that consciousness, the truth is, what you are seeing, is that this is just source. It just manifests. So everything is just happening. There's no purpose. There's nothing. There's no reason or purpose or anything for it happening. It just is. So if you listen to those that are in that level, right? Because this is what happened. Experience has ended for them. The story, the life, the karma, the whatever that source is, chosen to experience, is now finished. There's no more experience. There's no more experiencer. The character is pulled. So I said there's no separate one. The character is pulled. Poof, gone. They are now back as the source. And what you are seeing is that there's nothing happening. It's just energy moving. There's just life, or what they call life, right? There is just this, it just randomly, as I say, it just moves. Energy is just, things are just coming up and down. It's just, there's no story, there's no purpose, it just does. Just because, for the sake of it. You see, the one just, but in the story, it creates. It's a manifestation machine. So everything you think, or whatever you focus on, whatever you want, it just manifests constantly. These things are appearing. So stories are made out of the appearances. But when there is no experiencer anymore, these are just moving, it's just flowing, it just is. For no reason it does. It's just this wonderful thing of energy, and it's just moving, and for no reason, there's nothing, it's just, see, just peaceful. There's nothing, no one, it's just, that's it. It was all imagined, literally it is. But in the story, no. Until the character's pulled, there is an experience of a story, but yeah, anyway, never mind. So as that person was saying, is very true. There is no knower. Knowing, because there's nothing to know. When the story ends for that character, that form, that body, there's no one and nothing to know and no knower, because nothing's going on, literally. And they're not joking about that. It was a very interesting glimpse that was given here. It was like, wow. Incredible. And such peace. That's what I say. There's nothing. That's why they say to you, what are you worrying about? There's nothing to worry about. There is no one and no thing. Completely comes an end. It's just peace. It's just, emptiness, oneness. It's just nothing. Lovely. Because literally there is only the source in its consciousness. There's nothing happening. No one, no thing. It's all just thought forms at that level. But until the experiencer is pulled, the character, personality structure, that is, that's it. You are in the story. Yeah, it is beautiful. So beautiful. And you've shown it sometimes, you're aware. I mean, you'll be shown it in your meditations or visions. The awareness comes to you when you wake up that there is no one and nothing. There's only source. And it's so peaceful. It's just nothing. It's so quiet. There's nothing. No one. But nobody bothers to ask, Why, when you wake up, people, oh, we trapped you. Why are we reincarnating? Or reincarnation's like, why don't you just ask why and you'll be shown? There's no one trapped here. You are eternal. There's the eternal now, right? And it's no accident. There's another belief. Oh no, that you accidentally identified. The one is the only one here. It doesn't make mistakes. There are no accidents. There's no victim here. Because it's eternal, there's only eternal now. What, as when you ask a question, maybe ask and get a direct answer, right? So what are you going to do when you are eternal and there's only you that exists? Nothing else exists besides you, which is only awareness and nothingness. You are going to daydream. That's it. What do you do when you're bored, when there's nothing to do? You are completely alone. Imagine now that's it. You are alone and all you have are your thoughts, just this awareness. And there's nothing, like we're saying nothing. Emptiness, there's just nothingness. What are you going to do? Create, imagine. So this is what the gurus tell you when the character is pulled exactly. Nothing is happening. There's nothing, there's no one. His experience ends. You're back as oneness. Right. But it's the same one that's choosing. There's no separate one here. It will choose those characters to pull those characters when it wants to. And no one is stuck here and misidentified. No. If that one, because it's the only one that exists, is that powerful and it wants to pull that character from the game, that's it. It will pull you from the game. And there will be no more experiencer or experience. There's just oneness. That's the ultimate level. Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible, actually. And it is, but most people, oh, we reincarnated, cycle, stuck here, trapped here, this and that. That's also giving up. It's all delusions and shadows, you've created. No, ask the self, and it will show you, and you'll be like, oh, okay. So of course you would. What are you going to do? You all that exists, So of course you're going to make up these beautiful stories and you imagine these things, There we are. It's divine, absolutely divine. But there's also an old day perspective that, this was a mistake and, you're trapped here and you must stop identifying. It was, who is making the mistake? Nobody. There's only source. You see, it's not making a mistake. It's chosen to do that. Doesn't make mistakes. It's anything that exists. If it wants to, if it wants you to go back to oneness, it will, and that desire will be put in you, and you will return. Yeah. No, you don't keep yourself stuck here. There's no you to keep yourself stuck here. You've chosen to work through certain experiences, and that's it. And when your karma and story is finished, like we're going now, it will come to an end. All of it. And you will see all your lives and you'll know why. It's flippin' amazing. So you've got a lot to look forward to. We are in the end of the karmic cycle. All are going to wake up. And you will see every life you had here and why. And you are going to be celebrating. Because this dream, what you wanted to achieve, was successful. And you'll be happy. You'll see why. There's no Oma. There's no victim here whatsoever. The divine is not a victim of anything or anyone or made any mistake. You're welcome. It's incredible. So you are still veiled while you're working through your so-called, because otherwise what's the point? Because you know everything and all that is. So you would, you'd be like, so yeah. Is the experience of being a separate one and veiled, so you can work through these things. But it's going to come to an end soon. And then everything. You will understand every life and why you chose this earth experience. And you're going to be like, yes! Very happy. Okay. Very happy. Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, it is amazing when you're shown it. A bit of a shock, actually, there as well. It was a shock to the... this one had heard the teachings that there was only one, yes. And that just resonated. You knew, okay, the ego is a false thing. There's no such thing as a separate one. And I followed that. I started that non-dual path. And there was determination here, wow. And then, yeah, but there was no guidance and understanding how to do it. So of course, what's going to reject the body? Only the body. I'm not a body. I'm not a but it worked. You got through to that level of understanding, and then I was shown this glimpse. But as we got to that disappearing again, the fright, or the so-called separate one, just pulled back. It was in a, because you actually see there's still a belief that there was a separate one to disappear. It's funny when you look back to all that, So there was like, where am I going? Whatever else. Yeah, it's when the Maya falls away and you get these glimpses, it's incredible. Wow, it's amazing. Yeah. Okay, yeah. But I watch a lot of people, actually, it's fascinating on here. A lot of people buying into collective stories, you see. Oh my gosh, this can happen, that can happen. No one asks source, no one goes within. They listen to, and the psychic, because it's now trending, that's what happened, and everyone just, that's why the blind leads the blind, are following other psychics and people on here because they're telling them you've got to do that, and this is why. And fascinating, some of the stories that they're creating. But it's at time, you see, so to see what the collective, there's still a lot of victim things. You can see that haven't been cleared because, oh my gosh, you've got to protect yourself, and I'm thinking from who and what? There's a lesson. A lot haven't come by. Why? They're just accepting it as the way it is because everyone's telling them they're at that chakra or that level. They haven't worked through all the different astrals and shadow yet. So there's a lot of just stuff being taken on by everybody else, and it's like a fad. It's a collective conscious story. And there's some funky ones out there. I'm like, okay, so all these ideas are shared for the collective to decide which ones they want to create in the new story and manifest, which parts. So there's some very interesting ones. But if you reflect on them, a lot of them are limited. So the same thing, they're choosing limitations again. They're choosing a certain amount of victimhood or control again. I'm like, no, you are the divine. You are completely unlimited. Why would you choose again you've just come out of great limitation, to limit yourself and say, put yourself in a box. I can only do this, and I'm that, and this is whatever. And I'm like, okay, but there we are. This is the level they're at the moment. That's all. Just, no one tests these things. No one tests these theories. They just take it as truth. Oh, well, there we are. You see, it's giving your power away again. Let's go and test that. Is that true? Or let's go and ask source, And also just understanding you create your reality. So then you're thinking about that. You see, there's not enough inner reflection at all going on. You can see. And this is when this one got to a certain level, and that's what I said. I said, this is like the blind leading the blind. Because you get to a certain level, and then you realize, no, it's like an echo chamber. You're not getting any higher or any further. Because what amazes me is that just the first reflection is, if you want to reach enlightenment or the highest level, where you're going to find the teacher that has got there, not the light worker next door that's just woken up and that astral on this planet, whatever. Find the guru that has reached that, like the Buddha, like these people that have got there. Those are the ones, you see. You're going to seek that thing. You're going to look for higher guidance. Look for someone at that level that can guide you and that knows what they're talking, that has been through those, you see. But when we wake up, which is because it's resonance, what you're doing is following people at the same level, and because you're resonating the same lessons. That's why you're drawn to them. But if you sat enough and did enough, go within our source, and did some reflecting, and understood everything is a mirror, everything. So every person, everything that you interact with, you choose, is reflecting back to you your belief and choice. That's what the resonance is all about, actually. Then you would go further up. You see, you would get a lot faster through the astrals and all the nonsense, the levels of consciousness or layers or whatever, yeah, clearing all the illusion, put it that way. But there's some fascinating stories going on out there. Well, I'm like, okay. Yeah, well, there we are. We're creating a different story at different levels. But if you reflect on it, it's a lot of still victim and limitations again. We're choosing. It's a habit. You see, you played limitations enough, you want to still choose some. But that's what I'm saying. You see, this is what this one got to you. We're getting to a point where you're like, no, this is the blind following the blind, because you realize you weren't, you know. If you want to reach what they want to call that, you're not going to find it from someone that hasn't got there, are you? So, you know, yeah, there's not enough reflection. You see, this is habits. These are patterns, consciously. You see, you're used to giving your power away. You're used to looking to the others. You're used to watching other people's, asking people's advice. And this is the same. You see, understand where you're getting it from, the collective. What do you think? You don't want to be the odd one, especially with people in school. There's a huge human program of wanting to fit in with the collective. Peepaw. You see, we all like the sheep. They moan about sheep, but I was saying, I found this so amusing when there was a big lot of slander going around that the sheep are unawakened ones. That's a mirror, actually. You are following the same thing. Other people telling you this, you see. Everything's a mirror. It's a fascinating. And you're like, okay. But yeah. The guru is within. That is the one you should be asking for the highest truth, you know, without our filters. Reflecting on the, why do I drawn to that? Why do I believe that? Is that true, actually? And you believe it enough, that's exactly what you are creating your reality. So yes, it will be confirmed to you. Whatever you believe, you're going to get that confirmation, what they call synchronicities. But there will be synchronicities, whether it's negative or positive, to confirm what you are creating as a truth. Until you decide, well, maybe not, or I want to change the story, or I want to, whatever, I don't know. It's fascinating, actually, yeah. No? No, I started the non-dual path. And then I did, because not having any teaching or background, you just knew, you know, that it was true. And then you started the rejecting of the body, you see, when you realize you're not the body. And the body didn't like that very much. The body kicked back. It was like, okay, fuck you. So that didn't go down too well. And then I had to ask for an actual guru, because then you say, you see, seeking outside again. I got that far. And then there was huge reaction, fear, that kicked back from the mind, the program, the belief. Oh my gosh, when you got a glimpse and you realize what reality isn't and was, and you don't know how to handle it, because now you realize nothing's real, the people aren't real. So you were like, well, you want to reject everything, because you don't understand. They've been through this. So you realize you needed more guidance, because all of a sudden now you wanted to reject everything. You realize, well, everybody you know is not actually real. There's nobody there and nothing's real. So what's the point? Now you understood why the gurus went to live in a cave, the yogis. Because they were like, they didn't want to interact with the world, because they realized there's a complete, nothing is not real. So there was a lot of, all kinds of, what you go through is like, what do they call it again? I can't even remember. I talked about a lot on Facebook. I made a lot of videos in Perplexed, because there was a lot of confusion in a way. Because now you think, well, oh, okay, well, what's the point then? You lose interest in the world now. All of a sudden, that's what he felt, because you think, well, what's the point? This is all nonsense. It's not true. Nothing's real. You're just creating everything. It's holographic. There's no people, and you don't even have any children, and it's not even your body. So all of these things cause, you see, a lot of, I can't even think of I've lost the word now, but I talked about it. Well, there's a lot of, you don't know how to deal with everything, and then you reject the body, almost like, ugh, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you realize, well, it's not your life, it's not your body in the first place. So a lot of things, you have a lot to work through. Confusion, fear, wow, yeah. And now you're like, well, none of it's real, so there's nothing actually happening, no one actually suffering, so what's the, you know. So yeah, you go from one extreme to the, it was a lot of, so I did ask for assistance or guidance, and then also you're giving your power away, because then they're saying, okay, well, don't meditate like this, do that, because this is that one, and you do that, and then there's whatever. So yeah, I did then start, so I got some answers, because I did start seeking. I asked for a guru, which appeared in my vision, and then I found one. I started following, just to get some clarity, and then you understand, oh, why? You see, only a body would reject. I'm not a body. I'm not. So these lessons, these gurus have experienced. You see, they've been through the shit. A lot of these gurus or Buddhas on the path there, but then they were working. A lot of them work with a yogi. There's a good reason now you understand why they have one-on-one, because they can guide you through this. And you are Western and had no freaking clue what was going on. So you really have to learn the hard way. So then there was a rejection, and then like the opposite, the mind became absolutely fearful and completely overactive again, and all these things. You had all these reactions to all of this, you know, whatever. And the body, is it? Yeah, you do need to. Then you learn when you listen to them, and then I listened to a few of the lectures afterwards. I was like, oh, that's why. Okay, that's what happened. Oh, okay, you see, that's why I say. You get to these parts and you're like, oh, wow. You will ask, go within, ask, seek guidance, and resonate. Always run everything through the filter. There we are. Run through. You will, whatever you need to follow, you will be for now, whatever lessons. So there's no, you see, you can't tell someone that, because depending on where you are and what you need to learn or what levels, I don't know. But yeah, there were a lot of lessons. Wow. A huge reaction from the so-called ego. It was a big shock. And then you kind of want to reject your family, everyone, because well, what family? There's no one here. There's no one really real. So it's a big... and then you hear afterwards, as they say, that these are natural reactions, but that's not the way to go. You still have love and compassion, even though there's no real people, or no one's actually dying or suffering here. It doesn't mean, you see, you don't know how to handle all these things. I mean, it's like a complete, can you imagine your whole world, the whole paradigm, what you think is the world and real here is not. Absolutely not. And it might sound nice, someone telling you, but the experience is very different. You see, there's a visceral reaction from the body and from the mind, because it's so believed that it is this, you've grown up believing this is you and real and all this. It's not that such a especially when you haven't come from an Eastern background or had no guidance, no guru. You woke up on your own and you started this whole leading the blind story. No clue what any of this. You didn't even understand all the things you were being shown in your astrals, all the levels, all the visions. Nothing. You had no clue what they meant. Nothing. All the astrals, what those meant, what the different manifestations and archetypes, you had nothing. But you learn, yeah. There's a great one of you learn. You are manifesting everything, yeah, absolutely everything, as that one, everything, as it appears. You just don't realize that it's appearing in front of you. Like when you walk, there's nothing behind you, actually, it just appears. So as you're moving, the things are appearing. It's instantly, like you're manifesting everything. The life, the tree, the house, the, whatever. It's just, it's an illusional, yeah. It's, and there's no people or real anything. But that's why I say that's a big shock, because it's what I'm saying. You understand how they do it. People, that's why they dump their family, their children, because it's like, what family? What? That's a bit of a shock. So the people you think are real that you love, there's no people, and they're not real. It's a huge adjustment. So there was a lot of, Uh, yeah, the mind can have great fun with this. It's part of the thing. But how the hell would you know? Because these teachings are not made public, you see. Until you hit the path, you have no freaking clue how to do this, how to navigate it, unless you're in an ashram or actually have a, a master that you are following. So you really have to, Anyway, by the looks of it, this whole path has been find your own way home. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Because all of it was literally like, wow. The only guidance that you had came from within. No clue. And as I started seeking, higher knowledge. Your videos came. So I say, go within. Or that video about when I heard that teaching, I shared that channel, YouTube channel. When that Buddha started sharing, she's lovely, she's a Buddhist, whatever they call a female Buddhist. She started this channel, and I shared a lot of her stuff. A lot of people follow them now. They've got a huge following, and she reads all wisdom of the masters, different masters. And I heard the one that there's never was, and there is no separate one. There is no ego. That is the illusion. It's true. And it was like a knowing. You just knew that was the truth. And it just resonated, and I thought, that's it. You see, this is what's keeping you separate, is the belief that there is a separate one. That is the whole thing. The minute I heard that, I just knew it, and that just sent this one on a path of like, right, that's it. But not knowing why, and it was straight away, that's it. And then you rejected, of course, you're rejecting then everything. You see, that's what you think. That's just, as I say. So, it is funny, the whole thing here was like, what not to do. But the whole awakening journey was so funny. That started, it was like, let's go the hard way. Let's find out all the way we shouldn't do it. Let's go through all the bumps. So even the astral, it really funny, huh? Yes, I stopped all thought. That was a feat from extreme. I mean, that's so much momentum. It took me about a year of extreme. I mean, like seriously, wow. Not easy, but absolute concerted effort every day, all day. You stopped all thoughts. Oh, wow, I know that your frequent everything. But then you see all the lessons and karmic and the huge amount stored in the body kicked in. And then, you straight away reverted back, because as you had to face some of these huge fears and distortions that rose up, there was a lot in this vessel. Wow. So much shadow. A lot of work to be done. Wow. So that, those resonance, those frequencies just sent us one straight back into the story and mind and and working through all the different things. Well, that one was overloaded and fried, at that stage. Literally. So it was amazing. So, but I was saying that's also no accident, you see, because think about this one. If this one hadn't done that, how would it be guiding anybody? You think the divine made an accident here? How would it being able to guide people or understand or expect if it hadn't been through all of those and worked through all the shadow realms and astrals and nasty things, and you have to face your own entities and shadows you created and all kinds of shit, you did, and overcome and take your power back and whatever you did, who knows, and all your mayas and things, whatever. That's it. So you don't question anything, there we are. Even that, I used to question there was a mistake and you did this and you were exactly, that's also victim consciousness, shadow, that you believe that you are falsely identified. No. Do you think the one made a mistake? Didn't make a mistake by identifying with the body, it chose to. That's why I say we'll all be aware why we chose to do it soon. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you bounce back, but then sometimes you weren't meant to, yeah. Yeah. You see, sometimes you have to, especially in the mind that much, of course you were. Sometimes you have to be brought to your knees to because otherwise you wouldn't, you see, to wake you up. Whatever you're going to do to seek your way home, it will do what it can to get you back. Yes. Isn't it amazing? It's what I'm saying. I don't regret. You look back at all these things, you laugh, but then how would you be able to help other people or guide them through it if you hadn't been through it or made those choices or mistakes yourself? So there's no accident, I think, that this path that happened here, none of it. Even the awakening path, you know, I don't think it was an accident that it had to do that. Do you think, ooh... You can't say anything if you haven't experienced it yourself. How can you talk about something or guide people or any of this stuff? Or have compassion or understanding if you didn't know? Yes. It's nothing cruel. That's you. There's nothing cruel about it. There's no one here even being harmed. That's what I'm saying. You don't realize that. There is nobody. There's no one here. No one's getting harmed. Nothing's happening. As well. It's the funniest part. But that's what I say. You know, it's really weird. This is what I needed a guru for. How do you understand how like they do? You're walking in two worlds. You understand? They are aware that there is nothing going on here, nobody. Yet you've still got to be. They still have to. The experience is real. You've got people that are suffering. So you see, they've got to. This was the mind game that happened here. How do you do that? You see, you're coming from there. This is the world. All of a sudden, holy shit, there isn't any. How do you? It's trying to reconcile or balance those when you've got no guru, no guidance. That was like, wow. Oh wow. You see, yeah, it's like. You're walking, this is what we're going, you'll be walking in two worlds. So the love and compassion for the experience will still be there. But the awareness that no one's suffering. But yeah, it's just, that's what I'm saying. This is why a guru was sought, you see, and started following their teachings. Because like now, how do you just walking through this and seeing it. That's what I'm saying, you see. It's not funny. Yeah. I don't know. That's probably why, but you see, this is why you understand the divine, the love and the compassion, why it's a slow awakening here. Could you imagine? Like I was saying, what happened here, this reaction was visceral here. I mean, it was like, it was bliss, absolute bliss, and it was amazing. And then, as I say, when it was like that crunch time, it was like, oh my gosh. And then now the mind, as it comes sinking in, there was huge reaction and fear and all kinds of shit that came out of the program here towards, you know, everything. It was like just trying to process, like, you know, wow, the understanding and the awareness of everything. Oh, it was quite a ride. So yeah, why do you think this process is slow? It's compassionate. For each person it's going to be different, because depending on the karma and what things they have to overcome and traumas, the divine, if you trust source and your thing, the divine will guide you as you're ready to clear that and face this fear and that past life or whatever. As you're ready to face the things, it will come up. It's gentle, it's loving, it's kind, it's compassionate. It takes you through the journey with love and kindness and compassion. But remember, there's no interference without you asking. So if you're going through a real difficult, traumatic lesson, seek the help and ask for that guidance. It will be given to you, even the people to help you through it. And then as you're going through it, you ask the divine to show you from the highest perception and perspective. So you're going to be watching the body go through this trigger again, but from a view of the divine. And then it's so much easier and smoother. You see the lesson. You see, you're not in that state of absolute. But once you triggered, yeah, it's like, wow, that energy. You need help sometimes. This is why we have other light workers and healers. You'll be guided. You'll seek that for them to help you work through it. Some of them are, you know, maybe not easy for you to, for the body, because the body has such a visceral, you know. because each one is a different experience. There's not one body or person or form here that is chosen because it's source. So source is getting the perception and perspective from every angle, from the lowest, darkest to the highest to the lightest. So each perception of every single experience will be different depending on the filter, what programs, families, genetics, consciousness, body form, whatever this vessel has. So the body you're in now and the chemistry or the DNA, the ancestry thing is going to affect the filter, the upbringing, because it's going to be. Then all the lives the consciousness has chosen to experience and play, you see. So every single one will perceive something from a different viewpoint. So the one is getting great benefit from this. But then, at the ultimate level, as you'll realize, there is nobody and no experience and nothing happened and no one. When the experience is pulled, there's just this beautiful emptiness, nothing, peace, nothing happening. There's literally nothing and no one. It's just this, it's just energy moving by itself, like in waves, in form. Yeah. Yes. But that's why I say people need to themselves, each one, go within and seek the inner, ask the inner guru, because that is the divine, the source. It knows exactly what you need. Do not seek it from other people. Stop following the other people. Oh, that one, this and that, they said this and this is what's happening. Question, ask, is this true? Always show, ask for that. You know what amazed me, and I made many videos about this, when people wake up on the awakening path, they're seeking that, seeking this, seeking that, everyone outside, of course, because you don't realize it's a projection of your consciousness anyway. So we seek in the dark. The first thing you want to do is fight the darkness, which is yours. So, so funny. When you wake up, you're seeking the darkness, and we're the dark. Ooh, let me find you. You're looking for your shadows. Out there, right? So that's your first thing. But no one seeks to go within. Ask, seek wisdom. This is what I say. You would think the first thing you would do when you wake up and you're navigating these times, what are you going to ask the divine for? Wisdom, clarity. You see, discernment. Why? Because those then you will be able to make the highest choices and not fall. And you know what I mean? It's amazing what people, and they do everything else, seek everything else, and gifts and this and power and all kinds of other funny things, but no one seeks these things, which with that will get you through, navigate through the let's say, the maze much easier. It's amazing what they seek. Light, love, kindness, compassion, wisdom, clarity, divine guidance. So you see, that's another thing. It depends on the character, the lessons, and whatever. So there is no one fits all here. They do it, whatever lesson or whatever they've chosen. Maybe the discernment is part of their lesson, so they're sure as hell not going to, get that one. There's no right here, because the one is the one who's choosing it. Yes, exactly. Always asked for that. And depends what your intentions are. Yeah, to whatever you send out is what you get back. So if you're sending out light and love, guess what? More light and love comes back to you. You see? So yeah, I don't know. They're all playing a role here, especially through the karmic times, because they are we're being projecting and reflecting for each other. So you are going to play the trigger for that one. This one's going to play the trigger for you. Because when you're caught in the karmic thing, you are only doing mirrors. You're playing roles for each other. It's like echo chambers. So you're reflecting, and this one's playing the bad guy here, and I'm playing the good guy here, and he's doing, whatever. This is just what's happening. But understand, there's a mirror, and that makes it easier. So much easier. Because then when something's happening, you're not going to say, oh, that's strange. Well, they're like this. No. Why are you manifesting it? What is that? If that is in your experience, there's a belief, energy, frequency, vibration, motion, whatever it is, that is the reason why that's there. That's being created by Well, not anybody else. It's not somebody else's behavior. It's you. If you believe that arsehole is, that arsehole will stay being an arsehole, first of all, because you're the one who's saying it's an arsehole. So you are creating an arsehole, and arsehole can't change because you are saying it's not, it can't change. So that arsehole will keep appearing in your life as an arsehole because you are stating it is, claiming it is, and creating that. You see, also what you expect outside. If everybody's that's what you're going to get. If you expect everybody's loving, kind, helpful, and whatever, collaborative, guess what? You'll start experiencing people in your life as always helpful, loving, kind, and collaborative. What are you saying the world is? What are you claiming it is what you get back. And if people started testing these, they would see it as true. But what people are doing, oh, they are terrible, let's throw stones and blame them. And then they expect to see, oh, we want a lovely government. But no, you are saying it is terrible and bad and this and that. You are holding that there, it's not able to change. Instead of saying, yes, we are see, yes, this is what's happening, but it doesn't mean you're going to keep it. Don't claim it and hold it as a truth. Let it be released. You see, let it transmute, okay. See that, yeah, oh, no, things are going right, but what be you visualizing the perfect future. So you are holding that vision, so now you are, so that terrible nonsense can be transformed into something positive. But if you keep saying, that is it, it's not going to change, they are terrible, and then you're expecting to see the world be transformed into some wonderful world, but you're the one who's saying it's not. See, understand what is there, fine, finished, done, don't harp on it. Yes, it's their shadow, yes, it is, okay, fine. It's karma too. It's reflecting the collective consciousness to them, that's all. And then let it go. So it can transform, you see. These are all things. Hey, you're welcome. But it is funny, it's what I'm saying, you know, people's like, okay, after a while. But yeah, it depends. There's too much outer work and not enough inner work, and that's why. So it doesn't change very much. And most people don't realize it's a collective consciousness. So if your government are doing X and Y and Z, and they're not looking at themselves, you see. Ooh, okay, we are then holding this as a collective, this energy. Oh, right. It's not going to change until the change is here. And it's fascinating, actually. Wow. Fascinating when you see lots of blame and projection. But then what do you expect from the West? We were never taught esoteric truth and wisdom as well. So nobody knows that reality only mirrors the consciousness. That's it. Nobody knew that. Because they knew everything was exact reflection. You would be like, now you could navigate. Because as the reflection comes up, you're like, oh wow, oh, I didn't realize that was there. I didn't realize I had that belief. Or I didn't realize I was being, you know, that much of a... There we are. Fascinating. Lessons, all lessons. And now karma. So don't blame, have compassion. Hey? Because remember when you weren't awake, you had no freaking clue. You were repeating that you're on this hamster wheel going around, you know. You didn't realize that you were creating it and affecting it, so you could change. So yeah, those that aren't awake have compassion because they are in their lessons big time and suffering. And they're also playing a role. There's only one here. It's playing that arsehole as well. Because that's what you're asking for. How's there going to be a reflection? If everything's a mirror, who's going to be... Someone has to be the arsehole to reflect it back to you, right? It's a reflection. So this is where you're being a dick. Oh, all right. No, look at him. He's terrible. Let's get rid of him. And then they wonder why that reality never changed. They kept swapping the reflection and thinking it's going to, you know, change. No. It doesn't work like that. But, you know, we got to work our way up there to get that understanding and realization. When you're clear enough of yours. Yeah. Non-attachment. There's also a reason for that. You see, it's the same thing. It's lessons and karma. That's it. Experiences. Compassion. All kinds of experiences. Who knows? First of all, we realize, you see, of course there would be suffering. We attach to everything. We believe they're real. We don't. If you are walking as a guru, you know there's nobody in there. There are no real people, so there's no attachment. So you're not going to be upset when something dies because no one's dying. You see there's no one dying and there's nobody to die. You understand? That's also beliefs. You go to certain parts of the world. This one lived on an island for a short bit. And the locals that lived there, their tradition was very different to the West. There was no such thing as mourning. I mean, it was amazing. When someone died, it was a shock because here, you know, you only get invited to the funeral if you're special or family, and it's, oh my gosh, we got to wear black and mourn for I don't know how long, all this nonsense, right? So depending on the culture, you're taught to mourn and suffer and oh my gosh, and don't wear black and go out here and do this and all that. That's a program and a belief. And it was very different over there compared to the West and how you're brought up because there was none of that bullshit. It was amazing. And I was being in this village. I was invited to the funeral. And I was like, oh, no, I can't go. I don't know the people. That's a bit rude, you know. You see, this is a Western thing. You would consider it as rude. You don't know them. And it's like very personal. Oh, my gosh, it's so serious. They don't see that as everything. Everybody was invited to the funeral. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you were. And everyone put a bit of money in and they had a big celebration and food. The person was buried, 1, 2, 3. It was like they died, they got buried. A big feast, crying, there was wailing. So you get your energy out. This is how the ancients did it. You cried and wailed, got it out, and it was done with. The next day, everybody was back on, and like they were cool. They celebrated their life. Even though they weren't awake and they didn't realize there was no understanding that there was no one gone. That they were still there, they just transformed into the nothingness again, back at source. But you can communicate with them. So these were unawakened people, not understanding that there's no death, that you know that they can communicate. The person hasn't gone anywhere. They weren't psychic or anything. This is just a culture. But they went straight back to work the next day, and everyone was like nothing ever happened. You see. Whereas us, how many weeks do we have to feel sorry and cry and mourn and carry on and oh my gosh, you see, taught a very different program. And that was eye-opening. That made me realize, wow, you see how they handled death? Was so different to how the tradition and thing was taught here. All serious and mourn and very much in density and oh my gosh, and you know. And if you didn't, it weren't like you weren't paying respects. You don't go to funeral if you're not wearing black, and you got to look sad, and you know what I mean. And oh my gosh, you're too scared to even ask someone. You see, we were taught to suppress emotions, hide our shadow, not talk about our feelings. Complete opposite there. They wail and carry on and make a big noise, and afterwards dancing and everyone's happy. It was like the Irish have a good wake. Yes. Yeah, I know. It's amazing. Yeah, wow, word. Yeah, I know. Oh, it's incredible. So you get it all out, and there we are. Or you can choose to celebrate the person's life and drink like they used to do, party, look at the best. And they weren't even tapped in. So it wasn't like you say, if you believe you can't, the person's gone, now I've lost them, you can't communicate with them, guess what, you can't. But those that know better, they're aware that their loved ones are there, they can see them, they tap in. You can tap in, you can see the unseen, you know it's there, no one's gone, there's no one who's going to go anywhere. There's no one to go anywhere anyway. Yes. Listen to what Bashar says, it's true, you're not here. It's a projection of your consciousness, you are dreaming, you are the divine having a dream. This is the manifest form to play your little, this is like your... you know, you play video games, right? Whatever, you know, you have this little Uno thing that jumps over blocks, right? That's it. You are Source, who's got the controls. There's no separate Uno. Uno is doing what Source wants. This is exactly what you are. You have just identified, I am the body. I am DJ. I am having a terrible life. You see, you're identifying as the character playing, jumping over. But no, not as Source with the controls, who's making the character jump over the things, you see. Then, of course, you're going to take it personally. Oh, my gosh, there's no you. The brain is filtering the information through, and the brain has got this illusion that there's a separate one, and that's what's being projected out. This picture of you is not real. Science will even tell you that now. The mind's making it up. The filter has taken an eye because it's in a body, and assume that the I then, because the brain is in a body, let's say, that, oh, this is it. So the I is me in a body. There's no one in the bloody body. You see, this is really what's happening. Yes. A good wake, yeah. You see, you can either laugh it out, dance it out. That's actually interesting what you're saying, the energy, right? Or you can cry it out. So there's those that mourn and cry and wail and bang themselves, whatever they want to do, right? Then you've got the Irish way. Let's get it out. And that energy is being moved by laughing, sharing, drinking. Okay, as long as you don't suppress it. But so there's different ways that we are getting the energy out. Celebrating the person's life. Let's look at all the good things. We celebrate that expression, what they did, or we're going to like, oh my gosh, you see. We were taught, this is a fear, because we fell in, that we are the body. But when that person leaves the body, do you still want that body? You know they're not there. So where's the person gone? You see, you're looking at a dead body. Nothing. It's dead, cold, it doesn't look nice. You know that person is not there. So what is the person? Nothing to do with the body. That essence has gone. The consciousness has been pulled back. That's just an empty vessel, a dead, this is meat and flesh or whatever. There's nobody in it. You are not it. That's the difference. The brain just assumes it. The one that's filtering the information is just coming through the brain. So-called physical. But there's no separate one at all. So when you take your I am the divine, right, there we are. I am that one watching this. I am the whole complete. I am not that. And then you will see what you experience and thing will be very different. But if you are claiming a separate one, which is just a thought, you are creating a separation and claiming it to be true. Yeah, there's nobody there. Exactly, it's a body. But in those days, you see, they were very dense. They were terrified of death and body, and exactly had a fear because they were in density. They were frightened of their own shadow. They didn't, because you didn't remember what was on the other side. You're so identified with the form. It was your own shadow you were running from, actually. It was your own distortions and fear, very much in our shadows, big time. Frightened of, anything in the dark. We cut the light out. There was a lack of light. So that's what we feared. And this is still what's going on now, massively. People are fearing their own shadows, big time. Which those entities they've created and projected, those are fears manifest as entities. They're fearing their own darkness, their own entities, their own shadows, and not understanding what it is. But the Buddhist teachings and things explain it very simply. What they are, the different energies, the different archetypes. These expressions, whatever. But it just, there was never access to the public, didn't have access to the higher knowledge and understanding of all these things. That's all. Those days they didn't believe it. They selected people that they thought were ready and at certain levels. They have a different way of doing it. You start. First of all, you've got to start somewhere. There's no jumping from the beginning. You've got to work through it. There's no easy cut, DJ. You can't just go, I want to skip this and go to the good part. I want to skip facing my own shadows. You've got to transmute them. You created them. So you won't fear them when you understand what they are. So you start working with what you call the higher self. So start working with it. So you're just working with the self because there's no one else. Start working with that, asking the one to show all that doesn't serve, that no longer serves, to be released, to be cleared. Call the light in, seek to raise your frequency. You see, what are you asking for? Exactly what you ask for is what you will get. So be very specific. Think about what do I want. Be mindful about what I'm asking for and seek it in. Ask to raise your light, your frequency, vibration, discernment, wisdom, clarity. Ask for these things. Focus on it. And that's given. As they say, seek and you shall find. Ask and it will be given, literally. But people don't believe and don't have the perseverance to stick it out. Okay, I'm going to ask now. Now's a good time anyway. So what you believe too. There we are. You see, you're just denying again. That's the mind again. No, I'm already in disassociation. No, you're seeing it, but everyone else is in their karma. You're seeing it through the human perspective still, through the eyes of a human, because you're still in that. You've got to work through it now. You know, disassociation. Start working with the self. Ask. Start talking to the divine and ask, please guide me, please show me. I've just said to you, sit, what do you want? Give me wisdom, discernment, show me what doesn't serve me. Don't look outside for blaming anything out there. That's not the way to get anywhere. You've got to start asking here to be shown what I need to release and clear. What no longer serves me. Ask for guidance. Ask for your guidance. Ask for angels to help. All right, they will help you through your shadows and your astrals and the lower realms too. That's the point. You'll get guided. All of these things. But all of it is with here. Don't seek any blame or anything out there. Then you're throwing stones. You're not willing to look at yourself. So start looking at you. Start forgiving the fundamentals. Forgiving anyone that you think hurt you. Ask for forgiveness. Start at the basic. Got to start somewhere. What you claim is what you'll get. What you ask is what you get. So ask for the help. Ask for the guidance. Ask for the wisdom and clarity. Ask to be shown what doesn't serve you. To be released, cleared. Call in the light. You see. And it will start. There we are. Just keep at it. Didn't happen overnight. This one was determined. It sat there. You know, it was determined, and lots of shadow. So trust me, if you were dissociated, I could get through. And the dissociation and shadow and shit was massive here. Darkness. Got through because we didn't give up. We sat on our knees and we prayed. We sat there and we asked for guidance and forgiveness, big time, until it showed up. There we are. It wasn't like, boom, you know, here we are, poof, and we could just get out of it. No, we had to work through our shit. Woo, big time. But it was then the divine grace and love comes in. So you're guided, and even with the health, you are slowly guided out. But keep seeking, you see. Look here. When you really, from your heart, having intentions are good, and you seek it, you want to help, you want to heal, you want to whatever, and you're not seeking anger and blame out there, it comes, really it does. It really comes to you. You see, the fear is your own fear. It's being projected back to you. You see? There's fear. And what you fear, you will draw to you, because you're manifesting, create your own reality. So the more, if you believe something and have energy, which is fear emotions, that is now manifesting. You are attracting what you fear. You are creating your own reality. So if you believe, focus on the darkness, what you focus on, it gets bigger. So you focus on the light, focus on angels, focus on help, focus on advice, focus on the opposite. Okay. And ask for help and guidance to get past your shadow. You'll see, if you go down to my first YouTube videos, so they went, I think even before then there was even more shadow. When I first wake up, wow, there was a lot of shit here. Wow, a lot of shadow. Yeah, look at my old videos now, it's shocking. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's, wow. Wow, there was a lot. It's actually so funny looking back. You're like, holy wow, was lots of things to overcome and all kinds of things. So you got to go to my YouTube channel. They're probably a little bit difficult now for you. You got to start somewhere there. So you'll be guided. Go within, you'll be guided. Ask for your guides, ask for the angels, and you'll be guided through. Do a regression, Tracy, to start with. Go for a past life regression, at least with a level 2, and then go for one of these healing, clearing things, so they can start. So you at least get to know who your guides and angels, and start, somewhere. Start seeking that, and it will come. Everything's a mirror, but that's difficult for you to understand. It's probably a little bit now. But I did make one, you know, if you want to start, on my YouTube channel, because the ones I normally do here, I normally upload them, depends on what they are, to YouTube. That's what I started the channel for, actually, for those that missed the live. But I made two. One is denying your own shadow, very important. That will really help you guide through these lessons and karma.